It is Tuesday, June 30th, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church, and this is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel and the one who saved our souls. We've been looking at the issue of bringing forth good treasure from our hearts. We often say to ourselves, I want to be good in and of myself. Because if I'm not good in and of myself, then how can I bring forth good treasure from my heart? Well, did you forget God has given you a new heart? So you don't have to be good in and of yourself because He has gifted you a new heart by putting His Spirit within you. Martin Lloyd-Jones said this repeatedly in his commentary on Romans chapter 6. Be who you are. It's the same idea that we've been emphasizing in this series. You're no longer an orphan, you're a child of the living God. Be who you are. If you've been born again, you have a new heart from which to draw the treasure Jesus is speaking of in this verse in Matthew chapter 12, where he says, the good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. That was Matthew 12:35. When we trust the gospel, we bring forth good things, good attitudes, good words, good works, not in and of ourselves, but because of what the Father has done for us in the gospel of the Son by giving us new hearts. And he reminds us, and this is what we've been discussing for the last couple of days, is we've been talking about how what we believe about the gospel expresses itself through our tongues, through what we say, through our speech. Matthew 12:36 and 37. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak, for by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Now, this doesn't mean we're saved by what we say, but what we say shows what we believe in our hearts about the gospel. The truth of the gospel should transform our tongue. When we try and justify ourselves with our tongues or try to show how right we are or criticize or misuse our tongue in so many other ways, it's because we have moved away from God's gifted righteousness in an attempt to establish our own righteousness apart from God. Romans 3:22, this righteousness, the righteousness of the gospel, this righteousness is given through faith in Jesus Christ to all who believe. There is no difference between Jew and Gentile. Now, this is one of the most amazing facts about the good news of Jesus Christ. God gives your life the righteousness of Christ. When we approach God and He listens to us and answers our prayers, it's never because we are worthy, it's because He has stamped our lives with the worthiness of His Son. When Jesus Christ died for your sins, God stripped away the word sinner from your life, then He stamped the word worthy over your life because He took the worthy life of Christ and gifted it to you. Now, you can really say often, well, maybe you'd say it, but that I might be beating this drum too often, beating this to death. But I think it's this way. John C. Miller said this: if the truth of our being justified by Christ alone is lost, then all Christian truths are lost. There is no middle ground between received and earned righteousness. The person who wanders away from received righteousness has no other choice but the monitor's on and Rex is up. I don't know if you can hear that. Okay, but anyway, I'll wrap it up here. The person who wanders away from received righteousness has no other choice but to live by earned righteousness. If he does not depend on the word of Christ, he must depend upon his own work. I would just say monitor yourself this week and see how often you fall into living by earned righteousness rather than the gifted righteousness of Jesus Christ. Now, what has God said to you today, and what are you going to do about it? Okay, I better go get that kid up.